been sitting on this thing for over an hour. Alright, so I suppose I should start with how I met Claire. I was over at the Lily in a Good Speed Park in Tillamook, Oregon, and she came over and talked to me. She also said that she would help me, that she would listen, but literally every single time that we have spoken to each other, it's been her making literally everything about her. Now, she promised to help me on a lot of different occasions, and just like every single woman in my life, she literally has never ever followed through. It's only at her convenience when it will screw me over the most. Now, whether she does that on purpose or not is arbitrary. The fact is that it has harmed me greatly, and it has harmed others greatly because she's not taking it seriously. It takes a great level of sexism to do this to somebody, to promise somebody that you'll help them, and then every time they show up for your help, you make it about you, or it's all about them needing to do you a favor first. And then, meanwhile, I have to do this from the library. It is inappropriate for me to be forced to do this in the library. Now, with Claire Jordan, the second time that she was going to help me, she didn't. She didn't even show up. The third time she was going to help me, what happened? Well, she did show up, sort of, and then she was busy hanging out with Casey, who also was a no call, no show multiple times. Then, all the times that they both set up to meet with me and actually help me, whether I paid them in labor or paid them in cash, it was always about them or pawning me off on one or the other. When it was Claire was supposed to help me and she'd already been compensated for it, she pawned me off on Casey, and then Casey would give the whole apology like crackheads do. Then, when Casey was supposed to follow through, he didn't. He wasted entire days of my life, as did Claire. They're not listening to understand when they're busy talking about themselves. Yeah, I'm not paying you to talk about yourself. I'm paying you because I need actual help. And when you're taking advantage of an at risk and disabled adult, you're doing something inappropriate and you know it. So, if every one of you show how incredibly sexist you are, because if this happened to a woman, all of you would have done something immediately. What do I get? I get talked over and told to go to a bunch of places myself when the law literally says that I have to go to a friend or family member. That's what it says. I have to go to a friend or family member for my safety. That's the thing about paying attention to demographics and also why the laws are the way that they are. Why is it that there are supposed to be mandated reporters that'll do this job? Because I can't depend, or anyone else can depend on somebody else to do their job as mandated reporters without a friend or family member, and a friend or family member can't be counted on to do anything unless there's a mandated reporter. They're supposed to work together. My family doesn't care, therefore, the mandated reporters don't care. So I have to go to people like Claire, people who used me a lot. You have no idea how many days I spent running around doing errands for her and for Casey. Running around doing everything that they wanted, because if I did what they wanted, they were going to help, and all they ever did was waste my time. Then Claire was going to, of course, talk to me yesterday, and she didn't follow through. Last night, she didn't follow through. This morning, she talked over me as always. And that's the thing, is that how is she ever going to help if she's just going to talk over me like everyone else? I get that I am a male, but I didn't ask for the parts I'm born with. And I don't ask to be abused for being born with those parts. I don't ask to be abused for crimes I never committed. I don't ask for people to scream at me, kill all men, as if that's magically okay. And I don't ask to be forced to do this in the library because the cops aren't going to do their jobs. And nobody else I know cares about the homeless, not even the other homeless. I have to depend on druggies. I don't even do drugs. I have to depend on druggies to hopefully help me. I have to pay them more money than they're worth because not one sober person that I know has made one effort at all through any of this to actually listen to me. Nobody cares. If nobody cares, it makes it legal to railroad somebody. You can literally get away with raping somebody by calling them mentally ill. Did you know that? That's why we have to go to a friend or family member. My paperwork, it says who I'm supposed to go to when I'm harmed. It says to go to friends or family members first. And we're supposed to try to turn it in right away. How many of my friends or family members have done this? This is how many months? 9 months? 10 months with Claire? 3 times in 3 days. She's shown that she's not going to listen. She doesn't care about the safety issue. And that this is literally the reason that I have to record everything is so that I can post it on the internet after I've wasted my time or other people have wasted my time because I'm getting sick and tired of being abused and treated like I'm not making an effort. I am making a superhuman effort despite all of the abuse by law enforcement. They found Natalie Bollinger's killer, but that did not stop the abuse against me, and that's the thing that none of you pay attention to. None of you ever cared about the abuse that I'm going through. All you cared about is who killed Natalie. You don't stop to pay attention to any of the assaults or harassment that I have to endure every day. I have to stay close to public so that people can't catch me off by myself and harm me worse. But then I have to worry about people harming me in public because I'm different or because I show signs of trauma. Meanwhile, I literally can't talk to a single woman I know about it because she's just going to talk over me and blow me off like it's no big thing. While I get it thrown in my face that there's rapists and child molesters in the world and all men should be killed because of it and so on and so forth. You know how wrong it would be treated if I was to say that same thing about women? It's horrible. It is horrible. I've never committed any such crime. I've never been convicted of any such crime. I have never even been charged with any such a crime. Why is it that me, a victim of such crimes, is so horribly treated just because of my gender? Then I get my LGBT friends pretending like I'm some sort of a horrible person for going to them for help, because according to them, I'm not LGBT. And I go to my straight friends for help. Oh, they're not going to help me, are they? No, according to them, I'm gay. No matter what, you find some excuse to hate somebody so that you can alleviate your conscience when you look the other way and allow harmful things to go and happen unabashedly against others. You can see on my channel, I do think about others. I do think about their safety and their children's safety, but none of them ever think about mine. People are selfish, especially if you're a male, especially if you're homeless, especially if you're disabled. Any excuse not to do their jobs. See, that works for hospitals. That works for the police. But you know what? If you're a bricklayer, they expect you to actually build the brick house before you are obviously off the hook. You don't get to refuse to build the house and then arrest the person who paid you already. And that's the thing about these police is that we do pay their wages. We're the ones paying that for them to deny us our rights as human beings. There are third world countries where people are better off than they are here in the United States, especially on the streets where we're not human. How many women promised to help me, and instead of trying to help me, they bullied me over and over again and just talked about themselves? How is that help? How is listening to some alcoholic who found out about me over some web YouTube Yoo-hoo stuff? How is that person going to help me in the least bit when they won't shut up? When they don't actually care? When they're probably on drugs, as has been the example. Anyway, they close here in about 25 minutes. It takes about 25 minutes for my computer to close down. It probably did not record any of this, but you know what? I have to try. I've been stuck here for, what, 6 days now? What's Claire gonna do? She's gonna postpone it again. She's postponing it till Thursday. And then what's she gonna do on Thursday? She's literally just gonna talk over me again. Meanwhile, the abuse here in this town happened just a few doors down from the library here. And it should have been turned in on the day that it happened, but I didn't have a friend or family who cared, and I still don't. All they're gonna do is postpone. Hundreds of people promising and postponing. This is why mandated reporters, despite the fact that they're required by law to turn it in immediately, this is the reason they get away with not doing it immediately, with allowing the predators to get away, because I gotta depend on people like this. I'm expected to make reparations for literally everyone. There are no reparations made for me, only abuse.